What is up, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram? Everybody's clicking on this video, guys. This is going to be part two of breaking down the pithy sayings of Proverbs. We did Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1, and now we're on Proverbs chapter 1, verse 2. And what does it tell us? It says to know wisdom and instructions, to perceive the words of understanding. Guys, before we get too far into the topic, I actually want to continue on focus on why did God inspire Solomon to write down these pithy sayings of the Proverbs. Is to understand this. God's intention was for us to benefit from Solomon's unmatched wisdom, his profound experiment with life, and his insight into the true purpose and value of humanity. This was an incredible gift that God blessed Solomon with, more wisdom and understanding than any other man. And you can check that verse in 1 Kings chapter 3, 9 through 12. He also gave him the opportunity to experiment with all the stuff that he had. So God inspired Solomon to write the book of Proverbs because we already know when God came to Solomon, it was for him to give wisdom and understanding for his people. And it's for us, the readers, to actually benefit from this so we don't make foolish decisions in life, so we can know right from wrong, so we can actually have wisdom and be able to prepare ourselves and position ourselves in good places so we can actually continue moving forward in life. And that's the best part. And the cool part, what I really love, is the fact that God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding more than any other man, and he tested all the different things. That's a different thing to say that you have wisdom, that you have the money and stuff like that. But did you test the stuff, right? Did you have all the riches and went broke and got the riches again? Did you have all the, they didn't have cars back then, but Solomon had the chariots, the horses, the women, everything. He had all these different things. And what better person is to test these things? Because anybody can say, like, oh man, a lot of times if we lean to our own understanding, we're like, that sounds like a great thing. Have money, have all the big houses, all this stuff, the women and everything else. That sounds cool, but Solomon tested that stuff. And we know in the book of Ecclesiastes, he talks about a lot of that stuff was vanity. So let's continue on moving forward, right? So Solomon, he was a man of intelligence, riches. He had the wisdom and understanding, and his hope was to pass that down to his son and his nation as well, so they won't make foolish decisions, so he can install the fear of the Lord in them, because that is the foundation. If we're being honest, that's everything. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. But that was Solomon's job, was to pass that down to them, because we already know ultimately, and I love this, and I want to put a pause right there, is the fact that Solomon didn't just keep the wisdom. We got too many people that love to do that. They find something good. By all means, study it. You don't want to go out there and be like, oh, I think I found some good information. You put it out and it's really like shady. It's a scam. It's not even good information. But it's really to get the information, you study, you begin to get the wisdom, you start to get the instruction and perceive the information, you start to apply it to your life. You're like, you know what, this is good stuff. People need to know about this, because Solomon wasn't being selfish. He was giving that information out to his nation so they won't make foolish decisions and walk in bad type of behavior, finding themselves in destruction, because we know some things in life can save you, some things in life can kill you. And Solomon's like, you know what, he could have kept all that information. To be honest, God gave that to him. He could have been like, you know what, I'm gonna keep this and I'm just keep it to myself. But ultimately, like I said, he made sure that the readers and his nations and everybody can benefit from this. So we go a little bit further. That was his main idea. So let's start to focus on the word wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to make sound decision, knowing what to do in any given situation, discerning good from evil. That's what wisdom is. It's the ability to discern, know what is right and what is wrong. So once you got that information, you be like, okay, you know what? I've been doing it wrong all my life. Now it's time to apply this wisdom so I can actually begin to make progress in life. And let's focus on the word instruction. Instruction, which is the teaching of wisdom and knowledge and training. So if I have the wisdom, I have the instruction, now it's the teaching of wisdom and knowledge and training. So I'm now, let's say I'm gonna use, for example, driving a manual transmission car, right? I have the wisdom. I discern how to drive the vehicle, right? Somebody taught me this, and I'm gonna teach somebody else. So now I'm showing them, to start this vehicle, you have to push down the clutch, put the key in, start the car, make sure the car is in neutral, and you're good. The car is started. Now we're gonna go to the second part, which is driving the car through the parking lot or the street. Now you're gonna put the clutch all the way down, put the car in first gear, and you're going to ease off the clutch while giving a little bit of gas. And by that time, you should be moved. So right now, I have the wisdom how to drive a manual transmission. Now I'm instructing somebody, teaching them, and what I learned to show them how to drive the car. And now they're moving in the parking lot. And let's say they decide to do something different with instruction. Let's say they're like, you know what, I'm not going to do what you said. I'm going to do the complete opposite. And that's the thing too, right? Because we have this free will. We have the book of Proverbs. We can do whatever we want. The Proverbs that tell us, like, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to your own understanding. I can choose to trust God, or I can lean to my own understanding. the choice is yours. But God's telling you, He's like, hey, do this, and you're good. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when it talks about too in Proverbs, what is like a soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stirs up anger. It tells you right there, everybody knows if you've been in an argument or somebody's yelling at you, if you're calm and you're like, you know what, I understand. I hear where you're coming from. How fast is that conversation or that argument goes down so quick because you gave them a soft answer, right? And you can choose to do this, or you can choose to be like, you know what? I'm yelling back at you. I'm gonna start saying blah 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 and whatever, right? It doesn't benefit you guys. So let's go to the third one, which is to perceive. So once again, he wants us to perceive understanding, which is the power of accurate discernment. With understanding, you can comprehend and grasp the situation and information properly, identify its problem or solution. With knowledge of its difficult and implication, it is to know right from wrong, truth from error, light from dark, integrity from fraud. Guys, the best way I would say to kind of break that down, I'm gonna use the analogy of like me personally. I love to play video games. Well, I used to when I was a kid. It's like if I used to play video games, right? You have your friends, you both got the controllers, you guys are playing the same game, and you notice your other friends that are all waiting. They're like, yeah, some of them cheering you on, and you notice one friend in the corner, he's just like his face expression. And you're like, oh man, one of the friends like, oh yeah, I think Robert's tired, bro. And you're like, nah. So you perceive that situation, right? You have the wisdom, you have the instruction. You're like, no, he feels left out. He's waiting right there. He wants to play. And you go to him and you're discerning the situation. Like I'm discerning what's going on, his face expression, his body language, how he looks, how irritated he might feel and stuff like that. You're like, hey, you want to go next? And you see his face is just glowing up. Yeah, I want to play. That's the way that you perceive a situation. And that's how we got to hold ourselves in life too. We have the wisdom, we have the instruction because we have the rule book, which is the Bible, right? We have the wisdom and instruction. And now we're going out there in the marketplace, in the real world, to perceive and discern about what's going on, because you don't have to be the smartest person in the room, but you can discern what is right and wrong. You can discern that, hey, this dark alley at this time of night in this area, it kind of looks pretty dangerous. I think I'm going to stay on the streets where the lights are at, on the streets, the open road and everything else. That's just discerning a situation. You can discern by some people too. You're like, all right, that person comes to work. I noticed that they don't really take a lunch break. They're kind of avoiding people. They really don't want to talk. And you realize like, hey, there might be something going on. You have that conversation with them. You understand that like, hey, they're going through some things. They don't have money to pay for the bills. They got a lot of stuff that's going on, because you discerned it, because you seen how they were dragging their body. You were able to have that wisdom to know that like, hey, it ain't about me. Life is not all about me. I'm here to serve other people. I'm ultimately here to serve God and to serve other people. And you're picking up on that discernment by that person. And these are the things that you do. So when you learn through the book of Proverbs, you get the wisdom to discern. You get the instruction to basically go through the training process and know what to do and be able to perceive a decision, a situation, knowing right from wrong. And guys, ultimately, and I cannot stress this enough, to get that nail and hit it with the hammer, is this, guys. To begin to truly learn and understand wisdom, we must establish the foundation, which is the fear of the Lord. It's the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Without the fear of the Lord, there can be no real wisdom or understanding. Once this foundation is laid, the next step is to apply ourselves to the Proverbs with diligence and learning, and to require yourself to learn this information as a student. You got to humble yourself. You got to be ready to learn for somebody else. You got to go through prayer, because you're not going to get it on the first try. You're going to be applying yourself. You have been taught the wrong thing for so long. It's going to take a long time to really train and walk in this right direction, because you're so used to being, hey, I serve my family and I'm serving myself. And now you're out here like, hey, I gotta meet the needs of other people. I gotta help the poor. I gotta help the widows. All these different things. You're like, this is a lot. But that's why you go through the book of Proverbs, to understand with humility. You want to go there humble. You're like, all right, God, you are the teacher. I'm reading, and I'm not trying to lean to my own understanding. I want all the wisdom and knowledge I can apply myself, guys. Guys, that's pretty much the end of that. That's all my notes. I know that was a lot that was given to you guys. But pretty much we're going to break down Proverbs chapter 1, verse 3 to get a little bit more understanding. We're going to walk through this together as best as we can. And guys, thank you for clicking on this video and watching it. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching this video.